Hi everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day. My name is Masanori Shiomi, or if I start with my last name, which we do in Japanese culture or Japanese custom, Shiomi Masanori is my name. Masanori is my first name. Masanori literally means following the correct rules, to which many of my friends laugh when I say the meaning of my first name because I'm notorious for not following the rules. But my justification or my point that I want to point out is depends on what correct is. In my opinion, I do follow the correct rules. Yes. Anyways, that's my name. But welcome to the podcast by Virtual Nihongo. Virtual Nihongo is a company that three of my really amazing friends and I operate. I guess four of us are co-owners of the company. Our company is focused on teaching Japanese. Teaching Japanese, it can be, in terms of speaking, writing, reading, in many ways, right? Not only teaching Japanese, but we also do translation, like translating mangas, or also we are preparing to do some tourism too. We want to expand our business to showing people around in Japan while teaching Japanese at the same time, since we also teach Japanese and that's what we do, right? But anyways, that's what we do, Virtual Nihongo. We do have our website, sorry. From the beginning, it sounds like, like boring ad, but I'll be done soon. I'll be done in a minute or two. Virtual Nihongo. Nihongo is spelled as Nihongo. Virtual. So virtualnihongo.org, O-R-G, is our website. If you also just look up Virtual Nihongo on YouTube, we also have YouTube channel and stuff for those who want to see visually or want to learn visually. We also post videos on YouTube. Anyways, we do want to support everyone to learn about Japan or the language Japanese in any way possible, and that's what we do. This is our first episode, very first episode doing the podcast. Why podcast? Because there are lots of people who, for example, will be driving and want to learn Japanese at the same time, right? I do also, especially when I did Uber Eats driving a lot, I would listen to lots of stuff. I do have YouTube Premium where you can download stuff, right? And then you can just listen to it, right? So I would just download educational stuff, right? And then just listen while driving. And I did learn a lot. When it comes to just delivering stuff, it can get boring, right? Of course, I do ask everyone to be careful when you're driving. Please don't be too distracted learning Japanese. I don't want anyone to be in an accident because of me teaching or just in general. I don't want you to be in an accident, so please be careful. But yes, there are a lot of people who want to learn Japanese but maybe don't have time to study Japanese. To respond to that request, we've decided to do a podcast. This way, maybe when you're like commuting, you can listen to it, or when you're doing something else, you can listen to it while you're doing those, multitasking in a safe way, right? So this is why we have decided to do a podcast. I did, introduce about our company and what we do, but I also want to introduce myself to you guys. Yeah, well, for podcasts, I want to be a little bit like easygoing or chill, just relax. I want you to relax and just listen. I'm sorry if my voice is annoying. My voice might be too soft, some people say. If it makes you sleepy, please refrain from listening to me while driving. Let me know. I can try to have a little bit more exciting, talk in an exciting way or something. I can, work on that. So just let me know if you have any advice. But anyways, let me introduce myself. I did, share my name, Masanori Shiomi, or Shiomi Masanori is my Japanese name. I also have an English name or nickname. I also go by Mac, M-A-C. So if that's easier, that's totally fine. Actually, my family have been calling me Mac since I was 3 years old. Yeah, or in Japanese pronunciation, it's Maku. So whatever way that's convenient for you. Many of my students who I teach Japanese to, they also just call me Shiomi. That's fine too. Anything is fine. Yeah. Just a little bit about myself. I do love cats. I grew up with cats. Since I was a kid, my family would always have cats. One time we had 12 cats. Yeah. I think 2 of our cats gave birth at the same time, around the same time. And both had around like four kittens and stuff. So at one point we had 12 cats. So throughout our lives, we have had cats. In my life in the United States too, I've had cats. At one point, my partner and I, we had 9 cats, right? So yeah, cats have always been part of my life. I love them. I'll do anything for them. Right now, I'm back in Japan, Wakayama Prefecture, in Japan. That's it's not very known. Some of you might have heard of Osaka. Osaka is the second biggest city in Japan after Tokyo. It's below Osaka. Well, I did say below Osaka, but Wakayama Prefecture is pretty big. It's a countryside. I would say it's a little bit similar to like one of the Midwest states, like Kansas. I did live in Kansas for 11 years, so that's why I'm, making comparison with that. It is a countryside, but because it's countryside, it's beautiful. The scenery is surrounded by the mountains and ocean. So like when, for example, in my hometown, Shingu City, right? If you just look around like 360, degrees, right? 70% of it, you will see mountains, and then the rest of 30% is the ocean. It's really beautiful. When I was a kid, right, from my home, it would be about like 15-minute bike to get to the ocean. So usually when I get like really depressed or, want to be alone or want to think about life or whatever, right, I would just, bike to the ocean, look at the ocean, throw some stones, try to skip or whatever, right? That kind of life I lived. It is a really beautiful place. I would recommend any of you to come to my hometown and let me know if you do come. It is really far away from anywhere, like even like from Osaka, right? By train, it's about 4.5 hours, right? Basically, from any major cities, it is like really far away. Some people call here secluded island within a main island. Yeah, because it's so kind of secluded from the main part of the island. So, but again, it is really beautiful. I would love to show you around. So please don't hesitate to let me know if you're coming. Yeah, I do sometimes have friends who would come over to see me, and I show them around, and they love it. So, other than cats, I do also love watching anime. Right now, I'm watching Spy Family. Please, for those who don't know yet, it's really good. Please watch. It's funny. It's relatable. The characters are relatable, right? Like likable too. Really likable. I love them. Really cute and fun. Yeah. So if you have a chance, please try watching. It's really good. I do also sometimes play video games. Right now, I'm playing the remake of what is it? Dragon Quest 1 and 2. I'm a little bit stuck with that game. It's an RPG game, role-playing game. You fight monsters and stuff. You have to level up to try to beat stronger monsters and stuff. But I've been stuck at this one place. I just die easily. So yeah, I'm kind of taking a break. But anyways, I do like playing video games. Yeah, sorry, I'm taking a long time just to introduce myself before even teaching Japanese. But I guess this is how I want to do with podcast. I want to be more like chill, easygoing, and I want you to also, not only know Japanese that I'll be teaching, but also like culture. I want to also show many parts of me, through what I have experienced and stuff. Because, when it comes to language, languages are directly connected to its culture, right? And the history of, wherever the language is spoken and everything. So I, with that purpose as well, I want to show myself, my life, and by knowing, some of what I have gone through and stuff, I hope that would also deepen your understanding of Japan or the language Japanese. But anyways, moving on to today's news. I made this section, today's news, something about what I did today. Today, with my parents, I went to a grocery store. Okwa is the name of the place. It's a local chain, nice place. I grew up with them, so we bought, of course, like ingredients for dinner tonight. We did, with my mom, I cooked mabo tofu. It's a Chinese dish. A little bit spicy with tofu and stuff, eggplants and stuff. Turned out well, I think. We also, my mom and I, we bought some flowers to, put them at our front yard, our house. My dad did a lot of work this past summer to clean the garden to be presentable, and now that it's really clean, thanks to my dad, we can plant some. So we did buy some flowers, and it looks nice. I do like gardening. I do like cooking, those stuff. I would help my mom do together since I was, I think, in junior high. Yeah, so it's nice to, be back home and then do the stuff that I used to do when I was a kid, right? And do it together with my mom. It's nice. Anyways, that's what I did today. Weather was really nice. It in the 60s, 60 Fahrenheit in Celsius. What is it, about like 15 Celsius? It's here, like it doesn't really snow. I would say it snows like once in 5 or 10 years. So whenever it does snow, people get really excited. Yeah, I remember one time. I think it was only one time. So I guess like it only snows once every 10 years or something. It was in elementary school. It started to snow, and usually it melts right after, right? But then this time, it accumulated just a little bit, like an inch, maybe less than an inch. But it was still like an amazing thing, for us, right? So it started snowing during school. So I remember my teacher was like, she just canceled the class and we just went outside and played with the snow. So it's that like rare for it to happen. So it is really warm. I feel like especially this winter, people are saying it's been really warm, and I do like it warm. So anyways, that's today's news. A little bit mundane or, boring, but not really boring. It's, heartwarming, like nice, chill time I was able to spend. So with that, let's move on to actually learning Japanese. So when it comes to teaching Japanese through podcast, of course, I can't write anything and show it to you, right? Everything is through listening to me. So the way how I teach would be, of course, different because of that. For this podcast, I want to focus on speaking, listening and speaking naturally, For reading and writing, you can watch my YouTube channel. Those are more focused on, not really totally focused on, but you get to learn reading and writing through YouTube videos. For this podcast, let's focus on just speaking. And when you think about it, when it comes to languages, speaking is the most important, right? Like if you can speak, you can come to Japan. You might not be able to read some signs in Japan, which there are many signs, right? But I guess you can use your camera on your smartphone and use, some translator thing and then translate them. But when it comes to like, some people coming to you to talk, or you go to a restaurant and talk, right? Usually you do need to talk. And of course, in that case too, you can use your smartphone and use a translator to, translate it. But of course, there will be some, lag, right, between like what you say and how it's translated into Japanese and what they say and how it will translate back to English or whatever, right? There's some lag. Of course, with the advancement of technology, that lag will get shorter and shorter, and eventually it will definitely be like simultaneous translation. So there will be no lag, right? But then still, I would say there's a huge difference between like being able to directly talk to someone without going through any filter or any other person, right? There's a huge value in being able to talk just one-on-one and understand right away what the person says with some nuances, some vague, subtle nuances, right? That like current technology might not be able to catch, right? There's always going to be a huge value in that. And I do believe be able to talk the language that you want to talk in, right? Does change your life. Like, for example, for me, right? Of course, I'm Japanese. I was brought up in Japan. So I did live in England for a little bit, but after I came back here, I forgot everything almost. So I only knew Japanese. And in Japan, we do have like mandatory education where we study English. Everyone studies English. At the time when I was a student, we started studying English from junior high. So junior high and high school for 6 years, it was mandatory to study English. Now the government changed to from elementary school. Everyone everyone studying English. So it's even longer now that people are studying English. But with that education, and of course with lots of many hours of me studying English myself, right? Now I can speak English, and with that I've been able to go to United States for college, and then I continued to I moved on to graduate school, and started teaching Japanese at college level, right? Not only that, not only about career, but it also like people around me, like most of my friends are non-Japanese people. That's because I lived in the United States for 17 years after high school. And it's just the possibility of my life has expanded multifold, like exponentially. Like like for example, population wise in Japan, there's about 120 million people. There's about triple the amount in the United States. And not only that, right? Like in Japan, statistically, 98% of the population are Japanese, right? So it's really homogeneous country. But in the United States, it's a melting pot. You can meet anyone from any country that speaks many languages, right? Basically, it's like epitome of the world, right? Like small version of the world you get to see in the United States, right? So of course, like when you think about that, like from living in a place that's 98% Japanese people to a place where it's super, super mixed in terms of everything, people, race, language, culture, everything, right? You have to kind of change. Your view has to change to be able to adjust to that, which is a great change. I've been loving that process. And of course, with that, my life has completely changed. I did live there in the United States for 17 years. So, learning a language, it's not just the means to communication. Of course it is, you can communicate, but it does also expand your life in many ways. You have to know the culture, history of the country, or the place wherever the language is spoken. With that, you get to know the people who speak the language. When you get to know the people, you really, the more you know about whoever you're talking to, the wider your view about life will get, right? And thanks to me being able to understand English, right, I've been able to really expand my life in so many ways. And I really appreciate that, the opportunity that I was able to study English, right? So for you who are listening to this podcast too, Japanese, unfortunately, there's only one country that speaks Japanese usually. There's like some areas like in Hawaii, in Brazil, where there's a big population of Japanese, but usually people study Japanese to be able to talk in Japan, right? Japan does have really unique culture and history because it's an island, secluded island, and for many years they developed their own culture, history, everything. In many ways, in many aspects, they have really developed their unique identity, right? So it is nice to, first of all, it is nice to just, learn any language. But I hope you, since you're listening to this podcast, you have a good reason to study Japanese. My encouragement is to have the understanding that language learning is a lifelong practice. Meaning, I want you to study a language until you die. Yeah. It's not like after 2 years of studying, you have mastered and you don't need to study anymore. It's not that simple. Like I said, language is directly connected to culture, history, everything in many aspects. So it's important for us to have the attitude to learn new stuff for the rest of our lives. With that attitude, you will, continue to improve your language or anything. If you have that attitude, it doesn't need to be about language learning, but you can be more of an open-minded person because you have the attitude to always learn from something for the rest of your life, right? You're not gonna turn into a really stubborn person who would never change their opinion of some stuff. And whenever you have an argument, you don't even listen to the other person's opinion or whatever, right? You don't want to be that kind of person. So by learning a language with the attitude that it's a lifelong practice, that would also automatically mean that you would also be an open-minded person for the rest of your life, which is a great gift, talent, which I think everyone needs. Yeah. Also, just to add, it will be a really great way to prevent you from, having, sorry, I forgot the word, where when you get older, you start to forget stuff. It's ironic because I'm forgetting that word now. Dementia, yeah. So, dementia, one of the best ways to prevent that is to, have your brain working on something all the time. If you have that great attitude of learning something for the rest of your life, then you will keep your brain busy for the rest of your life, meaning your brain won't have any time to sleep or, be a little bit lazy. So with that too, it is super, super beneficial to learn a language. And since you are studying Japanese, right, I really encourage you to try to come to Japan. It does have many issues, which I would love to share, and I will be sharing in other episodes, right? But at the same time, there are lots of beautiful things. The food is so amazing. It's so good. It's cheap because Japanese yen is pretty weak now. Cheap. Food is good. It's compared to other countries, it is really safe. Like public safety wise, it is really safe. Yeah, there are a lot of positive stuff about Japan that I want you to know. Since you're studying Japanese, please try to come to Japan and let me know whenever you are coming. If I'm in Japan, I would love to meet you. I always, the the name of our company is Virtual Nihongo. It does have the word virtual, but I always prefer, personal, in person, non-virtual. I want to see people, face to face, get to know the person, the best I can, and have fun together, cherish the connection, deepen the connection. So please don't hesitate to contact me whenever you come to Japan. I would love to meet up and I would love to show you around. So anyways, with that, For today's Japanese class, I want to focus on pronunciation. So, pronunciation of Japanese. I guess to first start off with maybe relatable way of explanation, it is really similar to the pronunciation of Spanish. Spanish has 5 main vowels. I'm sorry, I don't know the order, but the 5 main vowels from Spanish are the same as in Japanese. Japanese too has 5 main vowels. The order in Japanese is a, I, U, E, O. I know like these a, I, U, E, O are the same in Spanish, but I know the order is different. I think it was like a, E, I, U, O. Sorry, I forgot the order in Spanish, but at least these 5 main vowels are the same. So first step, since I'm talking English, right? I assume those who are listening to this, English speakers, I want you to get rid of the English brain. English brain meaning the letter A. Whenever you see the letter A, don't pronounce that as A. Pronounce that as A. A. Like, the word like when you remember something, when you try to remember something and then you're like, that one, that right? So from now on, when you're studying Japanese, try to switch from the English brain to Japanese brain. In Japanese brain, the letter A is pronounced as A. Okay? So if you can, please repeat after me. A. A. Okay. The next vowel is I. So in the English, right, the alphabet will be I, the alphabet I. But again, try to get rid of that pronunciation. And then from now on, when you're studying Japanese, pronounce that as I. Okay? I, like the E from Hawaii, that I. Okay? Again, the letter I, the alphabet I, will be pronounced as I. So repeat after me. I. I. Okay, so far we have covered A and I. The letters A and I will be A, I. Okay? Next one, we're going to cover the letter U. This will be pronounced as U. U. So it's kind of similar to the U sound from the word ooze, like something oozes out, right? Like ooze, that, oo. Okay? Repeat after me. U. U. Okay. With that, we have A, I, U again. Again, in your head, you'll have the letters, the English alphabets, A, I, U, but in Japanese pronunciation, with your Japanese brain, those will be A, I, U. Okay? All right. Let's move on to the 4th vowel. That's going to be the English alphabet E, right? That will be pronounced as E. E. So it's similar to the sound of E from the word edge, like edge of something, right? Edge of the desk. Edge. Da, if that makes sense. So repeat after me. E. Okay, so far we have the letters A, I, U, E, which will be pronounced as A, I, U, E. Okay? Last one will be the letter O. That will be pronounced as O. Again, O. Like similar to the O sound from the word awful, like awful, O. Repeat after me, O. O. With that, we cover all the 5 main vowels. I'm going to say those 5 in a row. So if you can repeat after me. A, I, U, E, O. One more time. A, I, U, E, O. Let's do one more time. A, I, U, E, O. Okay, so have those in your head, right? Have those 5 letters A, I, U, E, O on the right, vertically lined up, right? And then to the left, we're gonna make a chart with consonants. In Japanese, usually each syllable is consisted of one consonant at the beginning combined with one of these 5 vowels. So for example, the first consonant we'll have is the consonant K. So when you combine the consonant K with the 5 main vowels A, I, U, E, O, it will be Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, Ko. Okay, repeat after me. Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, Ko. That's the second row, okay? Okay, let's move on to the next row, which is the consonant S. Repeat after me. I'm gonna say those S combined with 5 main vowels in a row. Sa, shi, su, se, so. One more time. Sa, shi, su, se, so. Now you might have noticed, but with the S and the E sound, I didn't pronounce as si, like how it should be if it's just S-I, right? Si. But then I pronounce it as shi. So this is just one of the exceptions. In Japanese, we don't have this. We don't have the si sound. Instead, it's shi. So when you're writing in English alphabet, it will be spelled as S-H-I. Okay, so again, it will be sa, shi, su, se, so. Let's try again. Repeat after me. Sa, shi, su, se, so. Sa, shi, su, se, so. Okay, always keep in mind that all the letters in Japanese, of course there's some exceptions, but usually it's just combination of a consonant plus one of the 5 main vowels. A, I, U, E, O. That's why my name will be pronounced as Shiomi. That's my last name. Masanori, right? Shiomi Masanori. With this understanding, you won't pronounce when you pronounce my name in English pronunciation, it's gonna sound more like Xiaomi, right? Xiaomi Masanori, something like that. But those are using the English vowels, right? But again, we have to switch to Japanese brain with just 5 main vowels. So with that, you'll have to pronounce as Shiomi Masanori. Shiomi Masanori. Okay? I hope with the understanding of the 5 main vowels, my name clicks in your brain. But anyways, let's move on to the next consonant. So far we have covered K and S, right? So the first row will be just A, I, U, E, O without any consonant, right? So far we have covered A, I, U, E, O, Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, Ko, Sa, Shi, Su, Se, So. Okay? Next we're gonna move on to the consonant T. But this one, repeat after me. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. One more time. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Now this one, you might have gotten confused because 2 of the letters are exceptions, just like she that we had from the S row. This one, we have 2 exceptions, maybe you can guess. The first one, ta, that's fine, T-A, ta. It's the second one again. Instead of T, it's chi, chi. So it's more like C-H-I, chi. Yeah. Okay, and then the third one is also an exception. Instead of tu, instead of tu, it's tsu. So it has an S in the middle, like TSU. Tsu. One more time. Tsu. It's a little bit difficult to pronounce, but always keep in mind there's an S. Kind of try to combine T and S together and combine that with the vowel U. So it's going to be tsu, tsu. Okay. So far we have ta, chi, tsu, right? And then the rest are following the rules, te and to, te, to. Okay? With that, repeat after me. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Okay. Now we have four rows, right? From the beginning, a, I, U, E, O. I guess let's say it together. If you can repeat after me. A, I, U, E, O. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Sa, shi, su, se, so. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Okay, these 4 rows we have so far. Next, we're going to move on to the consonant N. N as in Nancy. This one, there's no exception, so it's pretty simple. Repeat after me. Na, ni, nu, ne, no. Na, ni, nu, ne, no. One more time. Na, ni, nu, ne, no. Okay, moving on to the next one. It's the consonant H. Okay, repeat after me. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho. One more time. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho. Okay. All right. Just a note. The middle, the U vowel, right, combined with the consonant H. It's hu, right? Hu. Some textbooks would spell it as FU. Sorry, that as acronym that that would be a swear word. But instead of HU, some textbook would spell it as FU. But just keep in mind. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho. Okay? Alright, so far we've covered 6 rows from the beginning. So let's review all of these 6 rows. Repeat after me. I am, I'm sorry if it's, like redundant, but it is super, super important. I want you to be able to pronounce correctly. Just always keep in mind we have only 5 main vowels. Okay? It's really simple. Because it's so simple that we only have like 5 main vowels, it is better if we strictly keep it within 5 vowels. Especially in English, there's known to be between like 14 to 24 vowels, which is like how many, like 3 to 5 times more than that of Japanese, right? So that's why, like, if you like forget to emphasize that there's only 5 main vowels, it's easy to like go, kind of have your English brain influence and try to, unconsciously pronounce with English vowels. So that's why always keep in mind a, I, U, E, O, and we're just combining consonants with those. So that's why, at the beginning especially, just repeating together with me is really crucial. So with that, let's cover all the rows. If you can repeat after me. A, I, U, E, O. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Sa, shi, su, se, so. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Na, ni, nu, ne, no. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho. Okay, now we have four more to go. We're almost there. Next row is the consonant M. M in my name, Masanori. M. Okay, this one, no exception. Pretty simple. Repeat after me. Ma, mi, mu, me, mo. Ma, mi, mu, me, mo. Okay. Next one is with the consonant Y. Y. This one, I guess I'll just say consonant Y with 5 main vowels. Okay. Repeat after me. Ya, I, U. Sorry. Ya, I, U, E, O. Sorry, I made a mistake. Sorry, forget about that. Okay, let me actually just get rid of the 2 that we don't use. Okay, so Y with the second vowel E, we don't use that anymore. We used to have it, but not anymore. Why do we not use it anymore? Because if you try to pronounce Y and E sound, right, it's gonna be just E, which is the same as the first row, just the vowel, A, I, U, E, O, right? That E, we already have it. That's why we don't have it anymore. Okay, so we're gonna skip that E sound. Moving on to U sound, so U, right? Ya, U, so far. And then the next one too. Y combined with the vowel E, we don't have it anymore. We used to have it, yeah, but we don't have it anymore. This one too, similar enough to the vowel E that we have. So with that, in this row, we only have 3 letters. Just get rid of the in-between letters, the E sound and E vowel, right? So it's going to be Ya, Yu, Yo. Repeat after me. Ya, Yu, Yo. One more time. Ya, Yu, Yo. Okay, moving on to next one. Next one is a tricky one. It's this one depends on textbooks. Some textbook would introduce it using the consonant L, or some other textbooks would use the letter R. Why do we have these 2 variations? That's because linguistically, the pronunciation that we have for this row in Japanese is like literally in between. The sound that's used is in between the L sound from English and the R sound from English. Let me just pronounce and just let me know which sound it's closer to. Okay? La di ru re ro. La di ru re ro. La di ru re ro. Usually people say it sounds closer to using the consonant L, like la li do de lo, la li do de lo, right? And I do agree with that, because if you just, in your head, if you have the consonant R, right, and just pronounce using the letter R from English, then it's going to sound more like ra, ri, ru, re, ro, which is difficult to pronounce and also it's not correct. It's linguistically, the sound that we have for this row is linguistically in the middle, is because when you think about how we pronounce the letter L in English, right? You touch your touch your tongue to the back of your upper teeth, right? Like if you try to pronounce the word like, I like baseball, like you touch the, tongue. You touch your tongue to the back of your upper teeth. That's what you touch. When it comes to the letter R, like for example, if you try to pronounce the word ride, like do you need a ride? We don't touch our tongue to anywhere. We just roll our tongue, right? We roll our tongue to the back of our mouth, toward our throat, right? This row in Japanese, we do touch, but we don't touch the back of our upper teeth. We touch the roof of our mouth toward the middle. So that's why it's like combination of the L sound, because it's not, we do touch, but with the direction, the location of where we touch our tongue is closer to the R sound. It's like a little bit toward the middle. So that's why, linguistically, it's like in between the pronunciation of the letter L and R. Okay, so with that, if you can try when you pronounce this, right? Try to pronounce it as if it's the letter L, but then try to touch, instead of the back of your upper teeth, try to touch toward the middle, the roof of your mouth. Let's try again. Repeat after me. La ri ru re ro. La ri ru re ro. It is hard to do this, especially like it's so easy to forget about this and then just go back to like pronouncing as if it's the letter L and stuff. But I would say if it's too hard to pronounce, correctly, stick with the L sound instead of the R, right? You want to be closer to the L sound. Okay? All right, with that, we're moving on to the last row. It's the 10th row. It's W. W, we have many letters that we skip. We only have W combined with the first vowel A, which becomes wa, and then W with the last vowel O, which will be O, right? Like if you literally pronounce W-O, it would be like wo, right? But here, like when you listen to some songs and you see this letter, some singers would pronounce it as wo, but like normally we don't pronounce the W sound for this letter. So it's going to be exactly the same sound as one of the 5 main vowels at the beginning, the first row, a, I, U, E, O. That O is going to be the same pronunciation. So wa, O, and that's it. Wa, O. Okay? Then you might ask, like, then why do we have these 2 letters that are pronounced the same, right? Like, before we had, like, when we covered the letter Y, the Y and E sound was taken off because it's basically pronounced the same as the first row, R-E, that E. Why do we still have 2 different O, right? This is because later we're going to learn particles. For now, I'll just quickly summarize what particles are in Japanese. Particles are similar to English articles like to, at, these stuff like I go to school, I study at school. Those articles, to and at. Particles are similar to that function. So the second or that you see under this W row, this or is used as a particle. So for now, just think of it as or that's used grammatically. The first or, one of the 5 main vowels, right? The or of a, I, U, E, O. That one is used just as part of a name, like my last name, Shiomi, right? Shiomi. That O of Shiomi is part of my name. It's not like used grammatically. It's not used as a particle. So that's why I write that first O. But then later, when we cover particles, right? And when we have to use the particle O, we do have to write that second variation of O, which is under the consonant W. I'm sorry, it sounds really confusing for now because, we haven't covered particles yet. So don't worry too much. Just, just know that we do have 2 same pronunciations. The O, we have 2 variations. Okay? So we do have one last letter that's not part of any of these rows, right? But when we say it together as if it's part of the last row, the W row. It's just the N sound. Like when you want to say like for example, I lived in Kansas for like 11 years, right? Kansas, that N sound, N of K-A-N, right? That N sound. We do have a letter for that. That one doesn't have a vowel. It's just the N sound, right? So when you want to say Kansas in Japanese, we pronounce it as Kansas. Kansas. The second syllable, ka-n, is just n sound. Again, no vowel, just n is how you pronounce it. So with that, the last row, W row, we together with that last n sound, we pronounce it as wa o n. Repeat after me. Wa o n. Okay, so with this, we covered 10 rows, including the first row, which is just the 5 main vowels. We have these 10 rows, so if you can repeat after me, we're going to go through each row, okay? A, I, U, E, O. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Sa, shi, su, se, so. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Na, ni, nu, ne, no. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho. Ma, mi, mu, me, mo. Ya, yu, yo. La, li, lu, le, lo. Wa, o, n. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time. A, I, U, E, O. Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Sa, shi, su, se, so. Ta, chi, tsu, te, to. Na, ni, nu, ne, no. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho. Ma, mi, mu, me, mo. Ya, yu, yo. La, li, lu, le, lo. Wa, o, n. All right. Okay, how do you feel? It's been an hour and we just covered all the rows, 10 rows that we have. We actually do have other letters. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not lying. We do only have 10 rows. That's truth. We only have 10 rows. But think about it, right? Like we have covered the first row was, just the vowels, right? Second was this consonant K and then consonant S, T, N, H, M, Y, L, Y. Sorry, W at the end, right? So with these 10 rows, we have covered the consonants K, S, T, N, H, M, Y, L, W, right? But then you might be like, what about the consonant G? What about the consonant B? Or like P? Or what else? Like D, right? We didn't cover those consonants. And in Japanese, we do have those consonants. How do we express them? Of course, like in Japanese, when it comes to just speaking, right? We don't need to write, so we can easily put those extra consonants. Like consonant G will be ga, gi, gu, ge, go. Consonant Z will be za, ji, zu, ze, zo. With the consonant D will be da, ji, zu, de, do. With the consonant B would be ba, bi, bu, be, bo. With the consonant P, it would be pa, pi, pu, be, po. Right? Like, again, like when it comes to speaking, because we don't need to write or read, it is possible to say the 5 main vowels combined with those consonants that we haven't covered. Just to let you know, for those who want to also be able to read and write, these consonants that I just said, the consonant G, consonant Z, the Z as in zoo, consonant D as in dog, consonant B as in Bob, and consonant P as in poop. These 5 extra consonants, these are actually hidden in these 10 rows that we covered. It's actually not like really hidden. We actually add something and you can manifest those 5 consonants. How do we manifest them? I'll just quickly explain. But again, for this podcast, we are just focusing on speaking, not so much on reading and writing. So I'm just going to explain briefly, okay? So the second row, K row, right? Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. When you write the characters for those ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, when you add 2 small lines toward top right of each character, small diagonal lines, direct and like, you'll just see. It's kind of hard to explain just with words, right? So simple explanation. If you add 2 small lines to each character of ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, that would become ga, gi, gu, ge, go with the G consonant. K consonant turns into consonant G if you add 2 small lines at top right of each character. Okay? And then moving on to the third row, S row, sashi, suceso. This one too, if you add 2 small lines at top right of each character of sashi, suceso, that becomes with the consonant Z, which will be za, ji, zu, ze, zo. Za, ji, zu, ze, zo. Okay? And then the next row, the T sound, T consonant row, right? It's ta, chi, tsu, te, to. But again, if you add 2 small lines at top right of each character, then T sound will become D consonant. Da, ji, zu, de, do. Da, ji, zu, de, do. Okay? This one is a little bit difficult. I mean, it might sound a little bit weird. So please repeat after me. Da, ji, zu, de, do. You can tell, just like, when we covered just with the consonant T, right? Like I said, we don't have the Ti sound T. So instead, we pronounce it as chi. And the third one too. Instead of tu, we pronounce it as tsu with the TSU sound, tsu, right? Similar to that, the D variation will be da, and second one G instead of D. Instead of D, it's gonna be G. And then third one, DU, instead of do, we don't have that pronunciation in Japanese. Instead, we pronounce it as z, which is basically the same sound as the previous, the Z consonant with the U vowel, z, same pronunciation. But the rest does, simply D, the consonant D with the vowel. So da, ji, zu, de, do is how you pronounce. Again, when you add two small lines at top right of each character of the consonant T. But again, this is just for reading and writing, which you can just watch my YouTube videos and it would make more sense. For now, let's just focus on how to pronounce. The last two consonants that we haven't covered are the consonants B as in Bob and P as in poop. Okay, ba, bi, bu, be, bo. These two actually are hidden in just one row. It's the row with the H. Ha, he, hu, he, ho row. This one, again, if you add two small lines at top right of each character of ha, he, hu, he, ho, it becomes the B consonant. It will be ba, bi, bu, be, bo. Repeat after me. Ba, bi, bu, be, bo. Okay? And then the second consonant, the P consonant. To come up with that with the same row, instead of putting two small lines to these characters, you put one circle, one small circle at, again, top right of each character of ha, he, hu, he, ho, and that would be pa, pi, pu, pe, bo. Okay? Again, this is just one row, the H row, ha, he, hu, he, ho, but by adding two small lines, it would be ba, bi, bu, be, bo, and by adding one small circle, it would be pa, pi, pu, pe, bo. Okay? So with that, with these 5 hidden consonants, we have covered all the pronunciations in Japanese. Okay? Again, what is the most important? The 5 main vowels. Always keep in mind, we only have 5 main vowels. Okay? Based on that, you just combine with consonants. And in terms of consonants, we have K. With 2 small lines, it will be G. And then S. With 2 small lines, it will be Z. We have T, and with 2 small lines, it will be D. And we have N, and we have H, and with 2 small lines, that will be B. And then with one circle, it will be a P. And then M, Y, L, W. Okay? So these are all the stuff that we have, all the pronunciations we have. Good job for reaching here. Sorry, it's taking a little bit long time, 1 hour and 10 minutes, right? I do try to keep my, podcast episodes about an hour, between an hour and 15 minutes. That's my goal. So it is coming toward the end. Okay. With that, I hope you have a better understanding of how to pronounce. And again, since we're focusing on speaking on this podcast, That is the most important. With this understanding, especially with the 5 main vowels, I think when you listen to Japanese, I think you can dissect better or distinguish each character easily. Again, like for example, when I say my name, Shiomi Masanori, right? You can I hope you can kind of tell that there's each character with a consonant and a vowel, consonant and a vowel, consonant and a vowel. Shiomi Masanori. When I say a little bit in a natural speed, Shiomi Masanori. But you can kind of still hear each character separately. That's how I want you to see with your Japanese brain. Okay, with that, that's it for today. That's it for this episode, our first very episode. Thank you so much for listening toward the end. If you're listening until here, I really thank you. I do usually end YouTube videos by sharing some somewhat encouraging words if you can take it that way, but let me try. Things, in life, there's many things that happen. Bad stuff, good stuff, negative, positive, annoying, sad, happy, a lot of stuff. I want you to know that you're a really important person. We need you in this world. Even when the environment or your situation tells you the opposite, please know that at least I really believe in you. I do think that you are a really important person, important being for the society. There's something that only you can do. Please believe that for yourself. And I am doing the same thing for myself. Whenever I'm going through stuff, I do try to remind myself that there's something that only I can do. Somehow, there's a meaning that I exist. I don't know yet, but at least I know that there's something only I can do. And I want you to think the same way. Things can be tough, but there's always, as long as we don't give up, we can always see the light. And it's the process of fighting against these negative stuff where we find true happiness. So with that, the fact that you're not giving up, the fact that you're still alive, or the fact that you're simply alive means you're already victorious. You're already happy. Okay? With that, thank you so much for listening until the end. And I will see you at our next episode. Thank you. じゃあまた。じゃあまた means see you later. Okay. じゃあまた。